Did you ever used to do that thing about getting into X movies by wearing, 2 pairs of socks to make you look taller?
No.
Didn't you ever do that?
No.
At the Classic in Hendon? It used to work, funnily enough. So, off the top
I never saw an X movie, anyway.
What do you mean you never saw an X movie?
They were 18s by the time.
No, they weren't. You're making this up. You're the same age as me. They were X movies. Enter the Dragon was an X movie.
Didn't go and see it. Used to come. This email from Misha Glennie, who I imagine is the Misha Glennie who's the Balkans expert, because there can't be that many Misha Glennies. However, I might be wrong. On the subject of X movies, my mother used to make me up and stuff my boots with newspapers so I could get into X films at the local flea pit, which is the Moulin Rouge in Oxford. First one I saw was The French Connection when I was 13. At the time, the age to get into X films was 16.
That's right. They then went up to 18. Yeah.
This from Tim. I got into the cinema in Lyme Regis to see Phantasm, Certificate X, at the age of 13 by rubbing soot into my face so it would look like stubble. It worked, but the man behind the counter said, "Don't expect to see you here at the weekend for the Saturday morning film club." So I think he cottoned on to my disguise. And it did give me nightmares.
That was the tagline for Phantasm was, "If this one doesn't scare you, you're already dead."
James, on the subject of X movies, in my town, which is Felixstowe, if you're interested, he says, it might have been a crime, but it was also the national sport. About, this is getting into X movies when you weren't supposed to. Off the top of my head, he said, we managed to gain access to Alien, The Omen, Dress to Kill, Death Race 2000, and there are many others.
That's an education. That's an education.
I have to say to Dr. Professor Lord Kermode that we didn't have to wear extra socks. A slightly deep voice seemed to do the trick. And that girl selling tickets never, but never looked at you as she sold you the magic piece of paper.
That's right.
God bless apathy, says James. I've loved horror ever since.
Yeah, you see. And I do think that a whole generation have slightly been robbed by the removal of the X certificate, because there was just, Dracula has risen from the grave is never going to look as good when it's Cert 15. X is what you need at the beginning of a horror movie. It is.
13 to 4. Louise has the letter. What was it about the letter X?
It's everything. It's absolutely everything.
But why did they come up with? Why was it X rated?
Well, I assume that what it was to do with G being general and A being adult, and then X mean it'll be to do with like not general. It'll be like outside of general. But you're right, it's bizarre. I don't know. I'm flanneling.
Right,
if somebody knows what it is.
That.
Yes, I know. But of course, the worst thing is that now it has other connotations, because in America, X originally was things like Midnight Cowboy was X. That was an X-rated movie. And then, of course, Deep Throat came along and X became porno. But of course, when we were here in England, X just meant grown-up adult movies. That's proper movies. And if somebody knows why they chose that, I can't believe that I don't know this, but I don't. I think it means as in exempt from the general thing, but it's just the look of it. It looks like somebody slashed an X on the screen,
The rather splendidly named Frame Muller says, my mother used to make me sit on a pillow in the back seat of the car when we saw X films in the drive-ins in South Africa. Most notably, Arnie's Running Man and Total Recall. They were never X's in the rest. Maybe
Total Recall was it an 18? Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Well, maybe it was an X in South Africa.
South Africa's got quite stringent film censorship.
Going to see an X with your mother really does not appeal, does it?
Doesn't.
That's not what it's there for.
No.
Nick in Stanmore, my first X-rated movie was The Manchurian Candidate, the original and the best. I was taken by a friend of my mother's on his motorbike, and that was another first for me. I don't want to go and see an X with a friend of your mother's either, really.
But on a motorbike's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty good. On the subject of X movies, my auntie took me, says this text, my auntie took me to see Emmanuel.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking it was Emmanuel, as in God with us.
Oh, really?
Right. Shortest piece of film I've ever seen. You can just imagine the scene. Better stay anonymous, as she might be listening. That's one sheltered granny, isn't it? Nanny. A crash helmet under your arm at the age of 13 got you into Confessions of a Window Cleaner in Leamington Spa, says Mick.
Yes, that would work.